joined today by Robert Smakman, Managing Director of Alvo Minerals. Robert, thanks for your time.
Thanks, David. Great to be here again.
VMS deposits aren't well understood and known for the wider investment community. Can you explain a little bit about what a VMS system is and, more importantly, why it's so compelling for Alvo?
Yeah, well, VMS that stands for volcanogenic massive sulfides. And what that means is sulfides are minerals that capture different metals, and those include copper, zinc, lead, can also include silver and gold. And in our case, that's what we have at Palmer. They're not so well known in Australia because we don't have many of those sorts of systems. But Canada, they're a very significant portion of the production of all of those different minerals over the last 150 years. They're often outcropping, so on surface, but one of the key features about VMS is that they cluster. And what that means is because they form from a volcano, the volcanoes as they move create multiple deposits in the same terrain, and that's what we're hoping to find at Palmer. We've got a couple of known deposits, and now we're looking for their friends, looking for the other clusters that could be around.
That explains the VMS. What about Palmer? Palmer's a really exciting district to be operating in. Why is that? And what should investors be looking at from the district?
So I'm excited about Palmer because it's 1,000 square kilometres. But it's not just any random 1,000 square kilometres. It's 1,000 Ks of the same geological terrain that can host these VMS deposits. And so when we started the project, we had a known, reference point at C1 and C3. And then as we've explored that remaining area, which is a huge area, we've started to make new discoveries. And, only recently we announced the discovery of a new project called Toro. Toro is about 30 kilometres south of the existing cluster that we have at the north. And it could be the start of something quite large in the southern part of our tenure. So I feel like 1,000 kilometres is a really good start to find more of these VMS deposits.
Touching on Toro, gold, silver, zinc, copper, but higher grade than your original discovery. What is that telling you about the system?
So it's a different part of the system. And of course, when you have these new deposits forming, what the rocks specifically around them will influence what metals are more concentrated. And yes, we're seeing higher grades of gold and silver at Toro than we have in other areas at C1 and C3, for example. But the copper and the zinc are a little bit lower. So there's a bit of balancing going on. We're really early days at Toro though. We've done 11 holes into the deposit. Every one of them has been mineralised, but we still don't really understand how big it's going to be. We don't really understand what the main commodities will be inside there. So there's a lot of work to do, but it's nice. It's a great start, that's for sure.
And another deeper target at Esperanza. Can you talk to that? And again, how does that unlock your geological understanding?
Again, it's part of that cluster story, and it's really close to C3. So Esperanza is a prospect that we found just through geological mapping and soil sampling, and doing the basic work that we've had to employ to cover this 1,000 square kilometres. Luckily, it's really close to C3, which means that we've already got a lot of infrastructure in around there. But Esperanza, we've only done 3 holes into it so far. The first hole, the second hole we drilled didn't have any mineralisation, but the first and the third did. And once we've done the drilling, we're still waiting for those results, but once we've done the drilling, we can drop the probe down. So we have our own geophysical equipment, and that's a really interesting point of differentiation with us. But we've done a downhole survey on that, and what that's showing us is that, yes, we intercepted the right area, but nearby, there's a much more prospective zone, which is higher conductance. It's a geophysical term, but it's a much more prospective zone than what we've seen in the first part that we've drilled. So yeah, we're really excited to go back there. And once we've got our results and a bit more geophysics is coming, once we're ready for that, we'll be drilling that target and let's see what it shows.
Investors always look at a great project, great location and how much work you need to do. But the final piece to that puzzle is funding. You recently raised money at a premium, almost unheard of. How did you pull it off? But also the attraction to the new investors to the story. Talk us through the raising, first of all, but also the type of people you attracted?
So we're always looking for, as an exploration company, you know, you're always conscious of where your funding is going to come from, and we come to conferences like this to try and meet new investors. And so these new investors that have come in, as you said, at a premium, but the new investors are particularly interested in our suite of critical minerals projects in Brazil. And, you know, Palmer's one of those, and they could see that the results were coming from, you know, years of exploration work on the ground. And sometimes we've drilled things that haven't turned up. And, you know, Toro's been a really nice advance for the company. More results to come, but yeah, they were interested in that and our rare earth projects as well. So we're hoping that it's going to be a long and fruitful partnership with our new investors.
News flow, what does it look like over the coming 6 to 12 months, and what should investors be focused on?
Yeah, in the next couple of months, even, we've got still drill results to come from Toro, Esperanza, Entre Rios, which wasn't so successful, the third prospect that we drilled. Geophysics, we've got an emerging new prospect that I'm doing some work on at the moment, which is starting to shape up. So I expect to be able to release that to the market over the next 6 weeks. Then we're looking at the rare earth projects that we've got. Will we reinitiate exploration on those or do something else? But I think that's the way we'll be going. So there's plenty of things to come. And then once we have our results back from the drilling, we'll look to initiate another drill program. And that money that we've just raised, will help us to fund that drilling.
Funded and focused on exciting projects with great potential, with a strong pipeline of news to come. We follow with interest. Rob, thanks for your time.
Oh, David, can I just say one more thing? Focused. Yeah, but we are an active explorer in Brazil. We're only in Brazil. And in fact, all of our projects are within a 50-kilometre radius. So it's one area that we work in. I'm there often into Brazil and on the ground. We don't actually have an office in Australia nor an office apart from the field office. So yeah, focused and active is kind of the way we look at it. Appreciate it.